Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome to my review for Justice League. This was directed by Zack Whedon or Joss Snyder, depending on your taste. And this movie is one of the biggest disappointments that I've seen in a theater, I want to say ever, but yeah, let's just go with ever. I've seen a lot of great movies in theaters. I've seen a lot of bad movies in theaters. But Justice League is one of the rare few that I just found generally disappointing. I don't like saying that something is disappointing. I would just prefer to say I liked it and I didn't like it. That's where it begins and where it ends. However, there really is no better adjective that I could use to describe Justice League other than disappointing. Because quite frankly, Justice League should have been the easiest movie in the world to make. I mean, DC's heroes are far more recognizable than Marvel's heroes, and so all you have to do is just build these guys up and give them someone to fight, and boom, you have a license to print money. Warner Brothers had pretty much one job: build a credible cinematic universe. They could have done it in half the time, they could have done it even longer, but they just couldn't do it. I'm going to try keeping my ranting against Warner Brothers to a minimum, and just talk about the movie itself. So let's just get into that. Starting with Thanos. Steppenwolf. Thanos. Because that's who Steppenwolf is. He's pretty much Thanos, but not purple and not carrying an infinity gauntlet. He even leaves the scenes of the crime the same way, through a portal. Like, how unoriginal can you be? And when Steppenwolf arrives on screen, he's just like, "Mother, I shall bring you back to life." He talks about his mother so much in this movie, I'm afraid he's going to turn into Norman Bates from Psycho. A boy's best friend is his mother. Oh, we know, Norman. We know. And Steppenwolf could have worked if they had built him up as this big world killer, and they tried to do so, but he just comes across as Thanos light, and yeah, it's not good. And then let's talk about the elephant in the room. CGI lips. I'm going to try and make a very long story very short. Basically, Henry Cavill was filming Mission Impossible Fallout at the same time as Justice League. His character in that movie has a mustache, while Superman does not. So instead of doing the logical thing as to, I don't know, shave it off, wait a couple weeks, or maybe even just a week for it to grow back, no. That is apparently too much for a company that made $5 billion last year. They hired some poor sap to CGI lips, like actual lips, onto Henry Cavill's face. Someone got paid to do this. And normally, I don't pay any attention to stuff like that. But my God, because this story got blown up so much, every time Superman was on screen when I was rewatching it for this review, I kept staring at his lips. It was like, oh wow, can you notice the lips? It looks particularly bad there. I feel so bad for Henry Cavill. I really do. Because he's an awesome actor. Mission Impossible Fallout proved exactly that. Christ, someone get him some Ben & Jerry's, because he deserves it. And if you take out Steppenwolf, take out the lips, take out all of that, the biggest problem with this movie is that it is just a mess. It is a rush job, no clear vision. It was clearly Zack Snyder having ideas, Joss Whedon having ideas, and the two just going like this for 2 hours. My comment section is going to be filled with release the Snyder Cut stuff, but I'm sorry, that's just all there is to say. This movie is a mess. They tried to cram Justice League, the Batman solo movie, Man of Steel 2, Wonder Woman 2, and then origin stories for Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash. 7 movies in one! And because there were 7 movies in one, Everyone was fighting for attention, and the origins of Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash were all incredibly mishandled in this movie. Aquaman would thankfully get his own standalone movie to explain his nuances. I'll explain more of that in that review. But Cyborg, who on paper could have been interesting, was just not. And The Flash was just basically all the twitchiness and awkwardness of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor crammed into Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is a talented actor. He was awesome in The Perks of Being the Wallflower, and we need to talk about Kevin. But he is given nothing to do, and it shows. And Cyborg's origin, again, could have been very fascinating. Like, his father is Joe Morton. How did no one think to make a Terminator 2 joke in there somewhere? Like, he's basically Miles Dyson in this movie. Come on, it was gift wrapped for you. All he could have said was, oh, I have a feeling that my son somewhere is a cybernetic organism. Like, that would have been dumb, but that would have been at least funny. But no, we couldn't have that. Well, let's actually talk about some of the good stuff, because believe it or not, I actually liked some of the stuff in this movie. Starting with everything involving Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. I have said that Ben Affleck as Batman is my second favorite on-screen Batman, and yeah, he was really good in this movie. There are two particularly awesome scenes between he and Alfred and he and Wonder Woman, and I honestly thought they were the best parts. Yeah, Ben Affleck got hosed. I know I've said that before, but Ben Affleck got hosed as Batman. And speaking of people that got hosed, let's talk about Henry Cavill again, because he's my favorite part of this movie. He's brought back from the dead and he fights off all the Justice League members. It is outstanding. Like, he fights all of them off, and the Flash tries to do some stuff, and he's like, alright, I'll stop him, and he goes Speed Force, and he's got the Justice League members up by the throat. You think he's distracted. The Flash is like, oh, I'm gonna pull a fast one on him. And Superman just slowly turns to realize, did you honestly think that I don't see you? Because I do. And Ezra Miller's eyes grow to the size of dinner plates. It's like, oh no. And Superman just trips him up. And like, that's badass. And then the best individual scene in the movie is when Superman and Batman meet for the first time since the Battle of Metropolis, as I'm going to call it. Superman grabs Batman by his throat and he's like, you won't let me live, and you won't let me die. And Batman, clutching to life, is like, the world needs you. And Superman's like, it may be, but it doesn't need you. Tell me, do you bleed? And I'm like, this is amazing! And all the scenes involving Superman and Lois Lane in this movie, better than all of Man of Steel and better than all of Batman v Superman in terms of that romance. Because that romance in the Justice League was handled very well. I guess for my final thoughts on Justice League is that it's a very bad movie, but there are some very good and noteworthy parts involved in there. It's not horrid or forgettable, but at the same time, it's not great or amazing. And I'm not even sure if it's even good. So, you know what? I'm just not going to give it a rating. It's going to be like It Chapter 2. It's just going to exist. Whether you love it or whether you hate it, I get it. But that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I am coming to the tail end of my DCEU series, in which I review both Aquaman and Shazam. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that. But have you seen Justice League? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below and tell me what you thought. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.